Jets Chaos. I'm Jeremy, and I'm on the couch. That's what I do. I stay on the couch, and I wait until I'm not allowed to be on the couch anymore. Usually, I have something I have to do, so I have to get up and go into the studio. But that's right across over there in the other room. So I stay in this room with the couch in between having to do things. And hope that my wife doesn't call me down to like do something, and hope the dogs don't start barking and I have to go down and take care of it. Otherwise, here I am on my couch thinking about the Jets. Just did another draft. Every draft I do now, by the way, somehow involves getting the running back Braden Allen from Wisconsin. That's my new obsession. My new obsession is that we get Braden Allen to be our number two running back and have the best running back duo in the NFL. Because I think that Braden Allen, if he gets drafted by someone else, he's going to be like a top 10 running back in the NFL, potentially. Never really can tell. But this guy, man, if you watch his film, go onto YouTube and after the show, of course, and look up Braden Allen, Wyoming highlights, and watch how he runs. Man, he is something else. Something else. He'd be really cool. I don't think he's going to last so long as PFN has him. PFN has him there. I get him at, like at 93. Don't ask me how I got the 93 pick in the draft, but I always find a way to do it. So that's another thing I do every time I draft is I trade down. I do a lot of trading downs. So boom. Is there any way to highlight your things? I don't know. There's no way to highlight it. So Boomtown 89ers is there saying that I'm live. Johnny Jimenez is down there. I see Dano down there. You guys must have notifications turned on. And look, I got to paint. You see that? There's a crack in the ceiling, and I have to paint it. I had it repaired. What happens is, you see, it's an old house, and they were too much insulation, too much weight, and it's not like up to like modern code, the ceiling. So there weren't enough beams. The beams are, instead of 32 inch, or is it 32 inch, something like that. They're like, instead of 16 inches apart, they're 32 inches apart. So yeah, I don't know why I'm telling you that, but there you go. I have definitely got to do some painting. Anyway, what's up, Megan Vulgar? And let's see. Oh, Leah Cravat's there. She's saying, "Hi, Uncle Jeremy. Next week, I'm getting on a plane next week at night. So in a few hours from now, I'll be saying exactly 1 week, and I'm going to be flying to North Carolina to hang out with my family a little bit and to help take care of my dad a little bit, visit with him, and then I'm going to be there for a week, and then I'm flying up to New York, and I'm going to be in Long Island for the New York Jets, or I'm going to say the NFL draft. But I'm there to hang out with about 100 Jet fans and the guys from Talking Jets and have the time of my life. Yeah, I can't wait. Let's see. Yep, Niners. Because tonight is the night when two become one. Couch and chaos. That would be interesting. Like if I just became part of the couch. Like there's nobody argues that. Like if if someone said, "What piece of furniture are you?" Like if you were a piece of furniture, what are you? I'm a couch, and I eat up all the crumbs, all the spilled food. I happily, you know what I mean? But what are you, Dano? That's the real question. Oh, okay. So I have to get it right. Someone's saying, "We love you, Coach." Someone's saying on Long Island. That's right. It is Long Island where we're going to be watching the NFL 2024 draft. We're going to be on Long Island, which is, technically Brooklyn is on Long Island or part of Long Island. I grew up in Brooklyn, and I never understood that when I looked at the map. It was always so confusing. I was like, why is it Long Island? It's not an island. because I always thought it was on. It's connected to Brooklyn, so how can it be an island? And I guess along with Brooklyn, Long Island and Brooklyn is an island. If that makes any sense. Slithen Punk, did you apologize to Hemi for attacking his kids? I didn't attack his kids. That's the thing. I didn't attack his kids. I'd happily apologize if I attacked his kids. It's amazing that someone could attack me the way he attacked me, get all his friends after me. Like you see, he has a whole crew of people. He went back, he spent probably hours of his time and went back and found a tweet that I put out a year ago, over a year ago, at some crazy dude who I happen to have information on, but I don't want to get sued. So that's why I was very cryptic about the post, that I was aware of a sex offender and I was aware of who they were, and they were on Twitter and they are a Jets fan. And I'm aware of them because I worked in Brooklyn as a teacher. So I happen to have the information, and I happen to see the person acting like a jerk on Twitter. So I didn't call him that, but I made a reference to being a sex offender. I was like, oh, someone's father was a sex offender. It was actually their father, but I happened to know they were accused, and their father was in prison for it. So anyway, it's a whole thing. They try to get me kicked off Twitter for posting it, and I was stupid for posting it, but everybody knows I'm chaos. I'm fucking nuts. Like, I'm a little bit disturbed. I'm a little bit of a lunatic. I have a hot temper, and I said it. And of course, he tried to get me kicked off. Luckily, they uh, saw that it was old. They changed their mind because they saw it was an old tweet, and I had deleted it. Like, I deleted it once I saw, and I had a bunch of crazy ones, so I missed two. So of course he found the two, the tweets that I didn't miss, which means he sat there, went into my profile, and probably scrolled up for a really long time looking, all with the intent of doing harm to me. But I'm the crazy one. And all I said was, because I didn't attack his kids. Attacking kids would be telling someone that their kids are ugly, that their kids are stupid, their kids are dumb. It would be attacking their kids. I don't even know if his kids are boys or girls. I don't know how many kids he has, so I can't attack his kids. I said that I feel sorry for his kids because they have a father that would obsess over all their time harming me. So those kids have a father who decided that he should spend his time trying to harm another person, spend hours of their time trying to bring this person down, trying to hurt their reputation, trying to harm them because they got into a fight with them on Twitter over the Jets. And he decided that that was a good course of action, that he was going to, and he got all his bully friends. These are the same people that try to bring down the Jets Lounge, spread lies. They used some poor girl and they exploited her and used her. I don't know. I don't know the facts, whether she probably was sexually assaulted. And they tried to blame Sack Exchange for it and the Jets Lounge, even though it wasn't him and it didn't happen anywhere near the Jets Lounge. And these people, Reptar, I think, and Joke or whatever, I think they're part of another space that they always do. They were jealous of the Jets Lounge and they try to bring them down. So Garrett became friends with them, and now they bully people. They jump all over people and they bully. So they saw we were fighting, so of course they had to get involved in bully and try to bully me. And unlike Justin, who like a coward cowered down to them and started like trying to be on their side again against me and pretend that I was going after his kids, which is just sorry and pathetic. I will never cower to bullies. I will always speak up to bullies, and they're bullies. What they try to do, they damage the Jets Lounge so bad. They did all this damage to people, and they hurt people, and they attacked Nick. So just so you know what kind of people they are, they attacked Nick the week before. What they do is they pick one person. Any person they pick on, he rallies the troops, and they all attack the person. So all I said was, I feel sorry for the kids. And as a teacher and as an educator and as an assistant principal and, in my line of work, I see what happens to kids whose parents act like children, like that are out there trying to cause harm in the world. It's not healthy for them because your free time shouldn't be to spend hours on Twitter. I mean, you could spend hours on Twitter. I'm not going to judge anyone. He might have plenty of time to still be with his kids. But it was like all day. And believe me, the time it must have took to search through all of my tweets, to go back over a year. Imagine how much time that must have taken. I would just say I just feel bad. I mean, for them, because why would you not choose to take that time? And maybe they were at work, and then my question is, what kind of job lets you sit on Twitter all day? Like when I'm working, which I will be, and I have some clients a little bit later. I'm not going to be on Twitter while I'm talking to my clients. So, am I wrong? Yeah, I was wrong to say the thing I said about that person over a year ago, and I tried to delete it all. I said, you know what? I've been losing my mind over Twitter. I've taken it too far, and I went out and I deleted everything, and I missed a couple. So when you have to go back over a year to make somebody look bad, think of how pathetic that is. When you have to go back over a year to do that, or when you take the time and say, I've got nothing better to do. How about just blocking me? Like plenty of people block him. How about we just block each other? We forget each other exist. So now every once in a while, someone will come onto my Twitter and say, apologize, be a man. You're going to teach me how to be a man? You who gets all these people to attack another human being constantly and one of them threatening to call my place of employment? And you're going to talk about being a man? You're going to show pictures of yourself holding machine guns and act like that makes you a man? Because, anybody could join the army and learn how to fire machine guns and do tours. And that's great. Thank you for serving the country. I appreciate it. But don't send Nick pictures of you holding guns to be intimidating. Like you're saying I'm bonkers. That was the word that he used. Garrett Ham used the word bonkers. Question yourself. You're fighting to people to the extent where you're showing pictures of yourself with machine guns. You're fighting with people to the point where you're getting other people to attack them. You're trying to get them thrown off Twitter. You're trying to impact them. Like, to me, that you should look in the mirror. And then you want to turn it around and say, oh, he attacked my kids. You know I didn't attack your kids. Because what did I say to attack your kids? Somebody tell me how saying, like, if like you could just as easily say, well, Jeremy, if you had kids, I feel sorry for them because you're freaking chaos. You're bonkers. You lose your temper. I feel bad for them. That's not attacking them. That's attacking you. So if you want to pretend and bring your kids into this, you're bringing them into it because you're saying I attacked them, and I didn't. I attacked you, and is it that you don't know that? You're not intelligent enough to put together that when, and I think you are. Like, I think you know very well it was an insult at you. It was like, what kind of father are you to be the person you're being, to be a bully online, to bully people, to fight with people, to threaten to call their place of work, to get other people to bully them? What kind of father are you to do that? Is that what you would raise your kids to do? And you're saying I attacked them? I'm the only one that did right by them. I'm the only one that tried to remind their father to watch how he behaves. So don't tell me how to behave. How about you behave? You're the father. You're the role model. Would you want them to see what you're doing? Would you tell them to do that to one of their students? Do you know how many students I had that teenagers that had threatened suicide because of cyberbullying? And that's what you are. You're a cyberbully. Because I didn't bully you. I called you an asshole because you attacked my friend the week before. You attacked another person 2 weeks before that. And you were obsessively writing 5 Brock Bowers text messages a day or Twitter messages. Like this obsession with I hate Bowers. Everybody knows you don't like Brock Bowers. I don't want to draft him either, to be honest. But to sit there and post it every single day, 5 times a day, just to get at the Jets Lounge, just to attack Steve. It was childish, and I was tired of reading it. It's like you made your point. You're anti-Bowers. Most fans are. I'd say 15% of the fan base loves Bowers, or the Bowers boys, and 85% are like, are you out of your mind? Why would we take a tight end? I get it. So you say it once, and that's it. So who's bonkers? 5 texts a day. Go to this guy's profile. Look how many texts. He probably deleted them. It was this obsessive attack on Brock Bowers. It's like to the point where you're convincing yourself he's not good. It's not that he's not good. It's just that we don't need a tight end. So it's just very, very simple. So when you say be a man, see, I am being a man because I blocked him and I'm blocking his friends and all those bullies. I'm blocking them. I'm getting them out of my life and moving on because it's not worth it. That's an adult decision. Obsessing over it, having people go there and lie and say that I attacked his kids when I didn't attack his kids. It was a clear attack on him. But of course, his friends jumped in. You brought his kids into it. No, I didn't. I didn't bring them into it. I didn't say anything about them. I don't know them. I don't know if they're boys or girls. I don't know their age. I know nothing. I don't know how many kids he has. Nothing. I know nothing about his kids. And he knows that. Because there are people who attack people's kids. They show pictures of them and say, look at your ugly kids. They will find information about their kids. Oh, your kids. There are people who know each other from the same community. Your kid sucks at baseball. He's a bench rider. He rides the bench. There are people who say shit about people's kids. It's fucking crazy. It's messed up. It's inappropriate and it's wrong. I would never do that. I would never say anything about somebody's kids. And I didn't. But I will, like I do in my job all the time, feel sorry or feel bad for kids when I see people acting poorly or, in his words, misbehaving. So look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. You want to sorry that I called you an asshole? I'm sorry that you called an asshole more for me than I am for you. Like, I'm sorry that I brought it to that level and let myself get caught up in bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to put this air conditioner on because it got hot in here all of a sudden. So that's the only thing that I'm sorry about. But you want to be a man? Stop using fake names. I mean, thanks for the super chat. Don't use fake names. Or if you're a friend of his or whatever, stop being secretive about it. I use my real name on Twitter. I assume you do too. The other people that you send after me don't. So the one who threatened to go after and call my job or call my former employers, they don't use their real name. So you want to talk about misbehaving and not being a man. To me, that's not being a man. You want to be a man? You don't agree with somebody? Then put them out of your life. Block them and move on. You want an apology? You want to talk it out? Instead of saying that to me, come to me and say, I would like to work it out. I'd like to talk to you about it. For whatever reason, I don't want to let it go. I want to talk to you. And then you'll hear me say that I didn't attack your kids. And I'll challenge you to tell me how that's an attack on them. Anyway, let me read the comments. This is supposed to be about the Jets. But thanks for the super chat, though. I mean, I guess. I bet you, if you didn't think I was going to read it, you're wrong. I have no problem reading it. It's taken a while to learn this, but the more attention you pay to people like that, the more... Look, I don't want to say people like that. Like, pay it, Nathan, I appreciate it, but it's not about that. It's about... It's like a real thing, like that people have to understand. It's like everybody thinks, because I'm the first to admit it. When I've attacked people on internet, I'm wrong. It's bad behavior. I'm wrong. But I don't. But to sit there and say that I'm the one that has to say I'm sorry and invent things and say that I attack children, it's slanderous. It's just an awful thing, and it gets the worst people. I'm embarrassed that I had some of these people on this show. Like, what was that guy's name? The guy who's a lawyer in New York, the prosecutor, Riley or something. Just an awful human being who got kicked out of the lounge because of something he said. And I'm not going to take, he's a lawyer, so I'm not going to say anything. But supposedly I hear there's a reason he's not in the Jets lounge anymore. And these are not good people. So there's that. I highly recommend Chaos in 2x speed. What a ride. Dana, you're out of control, bro. Calm down, Dr. Phil, and let's continue with something else. Okay, unknown. This is supposed to be a vegan chat. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to make a chat vegan. Bread makes me poop. I'm enjoying the commentary. This is what you guys are talking about while I'm going on. I just figured I had to say something at some point. right? And if they're going to come to my venue, I'm going to say something. But again, not proud of those bad tweets that I made. But who decided to make certain people judge and jury on what should happen to them? It's unbelievable. Anyway, Braylon Edwards, I was talking about him, running back that I want on this team. Would love to have Braylon Edwards. Unbelievable prospect. He's like 6'1", 6'2", but he looks even bigger. So a running back, he's big, and I've never seen such a big, strong running back. Like he's got like the running back legs, the giant thighs, like the big hamstrings, and but the speed is just like out of control. And it's not so much like there's so many guys that run that speed, right, and run faster or slower. It's not so much, and a lot of people don't realize this. It's well, I think people like smarter than people, but one of the things that I learned was that it's not always about like just running a 40 and how fast you are. It's about acceleration. It's about being able to like slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up, adjust, make a turn. Like there's more than just running a 40. It's not a straight run, right? We know that. So what encourage you to look at, if you look at Braylon Edwards, is his ability to go slow, to actually move slowly and be patient. Like to recognize when he has a moment. Like in other words, if there's someone on him and there's no time, he's not going to slow down and get tackled. But like when he's able to, it's almost like watching slow motion the way he does it. It's pretty amazing. Like he runs up to the line and he'll stop, and then he'll explode into a hole in the line. Like he'll go laterally and then move through a hole. It's just so finesse and power combined. Like there's power in it, but there's also this beautiful finesse to it. It's a beautiful thing to watch. He's one of the most interesting running backs. I haven't felt like that about a running back, like how much I enjoy watching him run and some of the things that he does since Breece Hall. Like that was how I felt when I watched Breece Hall. Not the same way, different running back, but kind of like as far as impressed and entertained by the running style. Just it reminded me of those feelings of wow, this is a special running back. This is a running back that you want to, I would love to have him on the team. Wouldn't it be great? Why should we only have one great running back? What's wrong with having another running back if you can get him in the mid rounds? What's wrong with having a running back that could also be a starter anywhere else? Like, to me, it's like, he comes in, if, God forbid, knock on wood, Breece gets hurt, this guy could come in and be a premier back. Like, I like it. Change your pace, but you're not giving up any, like, give Breece a rest, but you're not giving up talent. Like, you still have a guy who in a different way could still hit a home run for you. I just love it. No, his name is Braelon. Oh, no, wait a second. Am I saying it wrong? What's his name? Oh, Allen. Braelon Allen. I always do that. Wow, I went from 27 people watching to 18 because of that mistake. People just basically shut off their phones and computers because I couldn't say the name right. Dano, that's why you have the wrench, dude. That's why you have the blue wrench. You're a moderator, so just keep doing your job. You got to call me out when I make those mistakes. Nick just lets me go on for hours saying it wrong. Bang Mateo. Let's just draft a weapon at 10. Hey, I agree with that. Look, so I said before, I'm not one of the 15% Bowers boys, but I will defend him. I watched enough of his film. He is a very special and interesting prospect. Is he right for us? I don't know. Because I think he's a tremendous risk. Because I think he's the kind of player that needs to be schemed correctly. He's like every time like you get one of these players that where you say you just got to find a way to get them the ball, I worry because usually the results aren't good. Great players, you don't have to find a way to get them the ball. They get open and you get them the ball. Now, this could all be crazy that people are saying find a way to get him the ball, and he might be wide open and he might be uncoverable in the slot. Either way, there's a tremendous risk to him. Because if he doesn't get open, if he's not a difficult matchup for NFL safeties and cornerbacks, if they can cover him, if the better coverage linebackers can handle him, and he's not such a big threat. He's just a regular average receiving tight end, and he's not special. The problem with that is then he's not an inline tight end. He can't block. Like, he's not going to be used that way. So now you just used your number 10 pick on a guy who has limitations. He's not even a full round tight end. So, I mean, it's a risk. He also could be and may end up being like Gronkowski or like Kelsey or like Kittle and be a game changing tight end receiver. So it could go either way. So I'm not like going to scream and go crazy. I'm not going to like freak out and melt down if we take Bowers. I'm going to say, okay, I guess they see something like they really believe, and they know more than me that they can make him into a star. I'm not going to be as comfortable with it, though. I'm going to be a lot more comfortable taking a tackle. I'm going to be the most comfortable trading down. Because if you trade down to 15, let's say, you get a second round pick, not only, you know, does that tell me, obviously, they're going to take either a wide receiver or a tackle in that situation at 15, but it takes some of the pressure off, because even if you miss at 15, at least you got a second round pick. And let's say that pick hits. That's better than 10 missing. Like missing at 10 and having nothing except 72 in the third round versus, oh, I missed in the first round at 15, but I hit big in the second round because I got freaking Pearsall or Roman Wilson or, you know, any of these guys, right, that we like. Lad McConkey slips or whatever it is. Xavier Legette, right? But if you hit there, then I guess it's, you know, it lessens the damage. Whereas if we pick at 10 and miss, we're screwed. Like, we're screwed. Like, that's bad because this team has needs. And I'm not talking about needs to get to the playoffs. If we stay healthy, we're a playoff team. Even if we get a little banged up and some people miss some games, I believe we're a playoff team. If Rodgers stays healthy, we're a playoff team. If the O-line stays healthy, we're a contender for the Super Bowl. For real. If this offensive line was to stay healthy. But we know that's a shot, that's a long shot. And we know there are going to be injuries. So what I'm talking about when I say we have needs if we want to feel seriously secure that we can contend for a Super Bowl. We need to know that if one of our tackles goes down, there's somebody who could step in and keep us relevant and be functional. Be functionable. We need to know that if one of our interior guys go down, there's a guy who could come in that we could rely on to keep us functional. If we go down, if we lose 4 offensive linemen, there's nothing we could do. I'm done. There's nothing we could do. I can't be on board of saying it doesn't matter, it's just an excuse. No, if we lose 4 offensive linemen, 5 offensive linemen, if we start 13 different offensive lines again this year, I'm sorry. No team is going to succeed or be a Super Bowl contender in that situation. So, I mean, that's just obvious stuff. We have to hope that the team completely doesn't just, self-destruct and get hurt. But to me, to really be a Super Bowl contender, you got to be prepared for some of it. Like if a tackle goes down, you have to have somebody. If a wide receiver goes down, you can't have Lazard be your number 2. If Garrett Wilson goes down, you got to have another competent wide receiver. And Mike Williams and Lazard suddenly Williams is an excellent WR2. But if he's your number WR1, he's a bottom half of the league WR1, maybe 25th best WR1. He's an excellent top 5 WR2, but he's not a WR1. If you have that and then you have Lazard as your second best receiver, you got problems. You got real problems. So to feel confident that we could truly compete, we need to address some of these issues. So, I've said it before. John B. says, Jeremy, you're one of the best out there, man. You intensely make me want to run through a wall. Well, I appreciate that, man. I'm just doing my best and talking shit. At the same time, you also called me an egghead. Do you want to run through a wall because you're just so upset that you can't get a hold of my head and crack it open like an egg? Or am I pumping you up for the season? I honestly think we should be pumped up for the season. So much energy from the couch. Yo, what's up, Papa Yeti? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, man. No idea what hammy is. I guess I'll keep that. I'll keep it that way. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry I put that on YouTube, but somebody, when you give me a super chat, I show every super chat. No, you know. Now I had someone send a super chat that was making fun of one of my call-ins a couple of weeks ago. Gino, who gave a super chat making fun of the guy. So I only showed the super chat for like 2 seconds, and I quickly went off of it. But it's I'm gonna show it because that's one of the deals. If somebody gives you a super chat, you show it. And see, I don't hide from it, And if somebody out there thinks I'm wrong and says no, Jeremy, that is bringing up his kids when you say I feel sorry for your kids, be with the way you're acting. Like if you feel that way, fine, tell me that. You know what I mean? I don't run from things. I don't run. I'm not denying anything or whatever. You know what I mean? If I'm wrong, I'll say it, and I'll take my medicine for being wrong, and I'll take the consequences for being wrong, and that's fine. Jets chaos. You really ought to think about leaning into the egg and use it for branding. An egg with glasses would really stick, I think. I think you're right. I think if I ever sold merchandise, I think it would be the most popular seller, right? I mean, I got to find a way to connect it with chaos. Like, don't crack under the chaos or something and show like the egg, right? Like with the glasses and maybe Jets chaos on top, or don't crack under the chaos, and like have like a little Jets logo like on the egg or something. I think that would be the like if there was a way to do that nicely, and there are you guys out there are a lot more talented than I am. I know that we the people like I'm serious. Like if we came up with something like that, Gator, if he wanted to do it, I think it would be the best selling thing. I think you're right. Because the egghead thing, my shorts, anytime I mention egghead in the title, in Japan, people were watching it and reacting. Yahoo! Egghead! Ah! Like people just love it. So I'm really not an egghead. It's because I'm a fat bastard. When I'm skinny. See, that's the thing. No, then I can't lose weight because it'll ruin it. Because when I'm skinny, it doesn't come off as egghead. It's egghead when I'm a fat bastard like I am right now. I'm so fat it's ridiculous right now. So Dr. Eggs, man. Dr. Eggs, man. I don't know, man. But I don't know. The chaotic egg. Watch your liver. I know it's funny I don't even drink, but I did see that on that you could pickle your liver when you eat crap. When you really eat bad and you have a bad diet. No, I'm gonna get Ozempic or one of those kind of like forms of it for non-diabetes to control my appetite and get some help because I've got to lose weight, or otherwise I'm not gonna be around very long. I'm not gonna live very long, and I'm not even joking. So I'm not gonna be around here very long if I don't get my weight under control and I don't start losing weight. I know some people could be 350, 400 pounds and live for years. But I've went to the doctor a lot and been having some doctor stuff, and I'm being told, no, you're not one of those people. Like I'm not meant to carry that weight. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to like do something about my weight for real. Don't crack under Jets chaos. Oh, I like that. Don't crack under Jets chaos. And then maybe the egg will be underneath Jets Chaos, so it'll say Jets Chaos, and then like maybe my tattoo, like my logo, Jets Chaos, and then underneath it will be the egg with the glasses and like a worried face. I don't know, lots of possibilities. We'll figure it out. I do want to do merch. Here's the problem at merch. First of all, I don't have the ego for it because like the idea of thinking people would want to buy anything related to me is just beyond my confidence and how I feel about myself. But also, the most of the sites that people use, and I don't want to put anybody down or offend the other content providers, but I find that the quality of a lot of merchandise is really bad. Like as far as washing, like you can't wash it, man. You got to wash it in cold water. You got to hang dry, otherwise the writing comes off on most of those. They use like they do it the cheapest way, and they overcharge like 20, and it's not even the content provider that's overcharging you, it's because of the company. The content provider might be making a few bucks, but like the company is making you have to charge, 25, $30 a t-shirt. Like you can't even charge like 20 and make it feel like a good deal because you'll lose money, I think. So and it's for crap quality. So it doesn't make any sense because the shirts are shirts that when I have shirts made, I know somebody who makes shirts. Oh, that's an idea. But then you have to invest and risk money. But I have a friend, like if I didn't do it through the internet, and that's the only way to do it right, I have a friend where you could pick the quality of shirt. And for $12 a shirt, I could have him, like I know because I've done this for work, I could have this guy make me shirts that would cost me $12 each. But the problem is I can't go by your ordering them. I would have to pre-order in bulk, like 50, let's say. And then if I got 100, it would be much cheaper. And I have no idea how many I would sell. And also, I have no idea what the shipping would cost. Like I would have to be my own. That's why everyone uses these freaking websites. So if anybody finds out about a company that does mail order, like that does it all for you, and you just give them the design, I don't care about the price so much as I care about the quality. I don't think you guys would mind if you want a t-shirt, overpaying for a t-shirt, but you want the t-shirt to be a high quality t-shirt that's going to last for a long time. Nick bought me a hoodie that is just spectacular. It's like the best thing I own. Not only because it's a Jets hoodie, but the quality. Like it's just such a nice, high quality piece of of clothing, and it's from I think it's from Fanatics, so they actually have good stuff. I don't know, man, but if you know of a company, I'll take recommendations. I just want to do it the right way. I don't want anybody to buy something and be unhappy and end up with like low quality crap. Like that's not cool with me. Most t-shirts are 40. I refuse to pay that much for merch, and nobody locally will even relate to yeah, and the size is yuck. Oh. So I don't know. Maybe Mediterranean giant, you don't starve fish. Thanks, Jets Florida. Yeah, I'm gonna. The reason is I take a certain medication that since I've been taking it, I gained all this weight. It helps. It makes it's helping me health wise, but it's also creating this problem. Like it increases your appetite. It's known for that. It's a side effect. So the idea is the Ozempic type medication will counteract the other medication and stop it from making me so hungry. And then I've always been good. Like I've done like the keto diet or the not even I have to I don't even go keto. I go Miami, like the low, like I just stop eating French fries and bread and white rice. And the only sugars I eat are fruit and things like that. Like so I don't do pasta, but I will have some carbs if it happens to be in something. Like I don't count carbs. Like I'll eat fruit and I'll eat things like that, but I I don't pay attention to those kind of carbs, but I just don't eat bread, white rice, sugar, or anything. And I don't go into ketosis. It's not keto per se, but it ends up being just a really healthy diet that's very effective, and you lose a ton of weight. So it's just a high protein diet, less carbs. Um, I have to guess how much of each size. Yeah, you're right, Dano. That's another problem with pre-ordering. So it's like, how many large do I buy? How many extra large? Got to get a double X large for green bean, right? I mean, you got that problem. So, yeah, and I can't afford to lay out money like that and start, spending hundreds of dollars and then have shirts. And then I say, oh, I can't even send Knobcraft a toy that he won because I'm so lazy. How am I? What am I going to be running to the post office every day and mailing stuff? I'll look. I'll look at what it is. I just don't want to sell crap. I just, I don't want to sell crap. I mean, the sweatshirt I have from Ryan for talking Jets. I like. It's not like the Fanatics one. It's not a special material. It's more of that thick, like Champions 1980s sweatshirt, but at least it's good. So I don't know. It'd be cool, man. It'd be cool. It's like don't crack under the chaos. I love it. You know. Egghead says, and then it'll say something. I was at the part where he said he's a couch and asked what you are. I did ask everybody that. I asked everybody to share what piece of furniture they would be. Carlos says, have it made to order. Yeah, I mean, I just gotta, again, like, I don't know. That's what those places do, those websites do. The website, but the guy I use, you'd have to buy it in bulk. He's not gonna make it to order. He's a guy, he does, I would have to order 50. If I called him up and said, just make one, he'd be like those companies. He'd say, well, then I have to charge you $25 each time because that means I have to take the printer. He has to take his equipment out. He has to lay out the reason it's cheaper for quantity is once he gets the machine going, he takes out 50 t-shirts and he makes 50 of them. But I don't know, man. I love how nice. Look at you, Tony Alexio. He's really a nice guy. He tries to act like this crazy guy. He's a nice guy. He's saying God bless you to people. Bless you. He's this older guy that lives out in Long Island. Gets mad. He gets very emotional about the Jets. We all get emotional about it. The whole first half hour of this stream was about a fight, right? That I had with someone all over a freaking football team. Right? Well, it really wasn't for me, to be honest. I mean, that was the trigger, but like it was about defending my friend. My friend obviously doesn't want me defending him, so because he's telling me to drop it and text. He keeps texting me, drop it, drop it. I dropped it. Anyway, this is what this has done. There's like nothing to talk about. There's rumors that the Colts might trade up. They might want Bowers. That would be perfect for us. It's almost too good that rumor came out, right? It's almost too good. Really? They want to come out? If the Colts traded up, who would be the perfect team for them to trade with if they wanted to trade up for Bowers? It's just crazy to me. Like, that's too perfect to believe. Like, if the Colts called up JD and said, we want to come down to 10 to get Bowers, it would be like, yes, baby. How bad do you want him? Give us your second rounder. I don't even need other compensation. It's just swap picks and give us your second rounder. We're done. I know JD is going to, fight for more. Like, even if it really is happening and they're negotiating, he's fighting for more. Like, it. He's got all the leverage. He could wait until we're on the board. And then all you got to do is call him up and say, I got my guy to pick. I know who I'm picking. So if you want to come up and get Bowers, come and get him. And then you see how badly the Colts want him. But I don't know. If I wanted a guy, if I believed the guy was the right guy that's going to turn my team around, if they really wanted him, you give your second round pickup. You just do it. Like, we gave up our second round pick because we wanted Aaron Rodgers. It's just part of, it's just the way it is. You give up your second round pick. We were willing to give up our first round pick this year if Rodgers would have played more than 60%. It's just the way it is. If you want something, you have to pay. Like, what are we going to do? We're going to let you move up 5 spots from 15 to 10 for a third rounder? No. A third rounder is just simply not enough. So it has to be a second rounder. And it would be great for us. Because at 15, we're still at the worst. We're still, at 15, we're almost guaranteed if we want the wide receiver, Thomas or whatever, he's there. And there's going to be some of the really good tackles there, like whether it's Fuaga or Latham or Mims, who I don't trust as much. Fontenot, out of all those guys, one of them is still going to be there, probably 2, maybe even 3. It just depends on whose rankings you're looking at. So If we get a second round pick and we secure one of those tackles, now with that second round pick, we could either just wait for whatever receiver's there, or we could take that pick, because I think that would be like 46 or 47, and we could package it with the third or with one of our fourths, maybe move up to 40, 38, 39. I don't know. And if somebody slips, sneak in there and grab a guy like Xavier Legette or a guy like Lad McConkey. I don't think it's realistic to think that the other guy, Adney Mitchell or Adnoy Mitchell, I don't think it's realistic that he's going to slip. But one of them might. And if not, you got your Roman Wilsons out there, your Pearsalls. I mean, these are real guys that potentially could be very good in the NFL. So to me, that's like I mean, if we went back to 15, grabbed the tackle, then in that second round ended up with a wide receiver, and we still had 72, and we took the best defensive tackle or the best running back or the best safety, I mean, to me, that's a tremendous draft. Tremendous. Just what we need. If Bowers is there, take him. If not, trade down a couple of spots and get a wide out and second round pick. So you like Bowers. Now, Bowers I could digest. But the problem with Bowers to me is if we take him at 10, I'm going to feel like, holy shit, what are we going to do at 72 now? There's not going to be a good enough tackle, so forget that. Maybe Roseguard, who's gaining a lot of hype in the last few days. Maybe Dominic Puny might be there, still alive. I doubt it. There are some guys that still might be there. There's Danielson, or is it Daniels? There's some guys, but to me, it's at third round. You're better off just going interior. There'll be a lot more. There'll be a lot more interior offensive linemen in the third round than there will be tackles. So even if you go center, because taking a center is the same thing as taking a guard, because you could always move Tippmann over. So there you go. AVT goes down again, God forbid, knock on wood. Okay, you move Tippmann over, and you drafted a center that you could trust. So, someone really good. And there's a lot of good ones that'll be there. There's a couple of guards we could get in the third, and I'm really high on that center from Miami. Oh, that's what I was just talking about. Yeah. Yeah, the interior offensive line is very addressable in the third round. And I think there are sleepers that are going to be later in the draft. Like at 185, you take a guy like Frank Crum. Guy's 3 foot, I guess 3 foot. Guy's 6'7", 325 pounds, and he's a 9.9 RAS score. Like he's a freaking phenomenal athlete. There's some sleepers. There always are. I don't know. Trust in JD, as they say. No matter what, it's going to be so much fun. I mean, I know that people are going to walk away pissed and take it that seriously to that level. But you gotta at least on that day we should just chill out and enjoy it. Like I'm going to be at a party, obviously in Long Island, with all those other Jet fans. I mean, it's going to be fun and exciting. If we trade back, it's exciting. If we trade up, it's exciting. If we don't, when we get on the podium, it's going to be exciting. And there's going to be some great player that's going to be added to our team, and we're going to love it, and we're going to be really happy, and then we're going to spend the rest of the night with nothing to do but talk about it. But we have to stay tuned, because you don't ever forget, because it happened 2 years ago. You make your pick and you think it's over, and then it's not over, because you don't know that it's not. You're not going to hear the sound do do do, and then the Jets going to come across and it's going to say Jets trade 2025 first round pick, fourth round pick, and third round next year. For the 26th pick of the draft or the 25th pick, and the next thing you know, we're taking Adnoy Mitchell. Or Lad McConkey. You never know. That's why Thursday night after we pick, you cannot shut the TV off. You have to keep watching, because you don't know what's going to happen ever on draft night. Crumb from Harry Potter, Big Green. There really is. Oh, I think it's Frank Crumb. I forgot what his name is. His last name is Crumb. I'm totally serious. Crum. Might also be the reason McGovern hasn't signed yet. Jets waiting to see if they take a center in the draft. Possibly last year they signed him like a few days before. But and they still took Tippmann. So look at it this way. McGovern can play either guard position and center. You could still take a young guy because McGovern's not going to cost any money, right? He's going to be 2 million. So you could add on McGovern, and I mean he's better than Wes. Why is Wes on our team? He sucks. Like why is he on the team? Connor McGovern, if he's our last rostered interior offensive lineman, what the hell? He's like he's played every year until he got hurt last year. He's completely functional and like serviceable. Like he'd be a great backup because if he comes into the game, you don't have to panic. He's experienced. I wonder how the change in our scheme and our blocking scheme is going to affect the kind of talent we look for. Like, does it matter or not? Because I know I heard we're going to power gap blocking, so I think if I didn't if unless I'm wrong, but I thought we were changing our blocking scheme. What are you saying? DW long shot 353. You're new, aren't you? I hope you subscribe to the channel. I agree we need a tackle, but same time Bowers is going to be a Kittle Gronk. You know what? If you believe that, and I don't, and I believe me, I was saying it before. There's a possibility he could be that good. If you believe that, then you're right. Like if you're confident, and I think if JD is confident, that's why I could digest it if they take Bowers. Because if they believe that he's going to be the level that, like his ceiling, and I agree, his ceiling is there. I see what he does on the field, what he did in Georgia is phenomenal. If that translates to the NFL, there will be no regrets. There's no question. If that translates to the NFL, there will be no regrets. If day one, I mean, if you watch his film, nobody can deny that he is a freaking freak of nature as a receiving tight end or a guy that size receiving the ball. He is absolutely off the charts. His ability to power through tackles, his ability to find space and separation after he catches the ball, to outrun defensive backs is off the charts. If it translates, and if you're someone who's very confident it will, I don't blame you. My fear is that it might not translate. But I'm not saying it won't. I'm saying I think it's a gamble. I think there's a chance it might not translate because I've seen it not translate for other players. And I'm not one of those guys that say other tight ends because I think that's stupid. Like, I think it's stupid. It's every position. It's every position. But there are some guys who feel safer than others. Like AVT never felt unsafe as a talent to me. Like guys like Fuanga, they don't feel like risks to me. Like I know it could happen, they could be a bust, but it doesn't feel like it. There's certain guys that just don't feel risky. Bowers feels risky. He feels He feels risky because he's not a traditional football player. He doesn't have one defined role. He's a tweener. Okay, now tweeners could become superstars, or tweeners could be mud on your face. So I just hope that, if they take him, I believe it. But can you imagine week one, if he is like a Gronk, or if he just is that special player? Can you imagine when like us lining up a 12 personnel, assuming that Bowers would be considered part of the 12, part of the two tight ends, right? Imagine, and I'm going to start with Conklin, nothing against Ruckert, because Ruckert is going to play. But let's imagine an alignment where you come out in a 12 personnel. You have Breece Hall in the backfield. You have Mike Williams to the left on the outside, and you have Garrett Wilson to the right on the outside. So you have your X and your Y, right? And then, or is it your Z? I don't know. I always mess that up. All right, so you have those two. You have Breece Hall alone in the backfield. You got Conklin lined up on the line, right? But could always sneak out and be a receiver. And you have Bowers lined up in the slot or a little bit off the line. How scary and amazing would that be with Aaron Rodgers throwing them the ball. Like people, even if you don't like Bowers, like if you're against the pick, if they pick Bowers, try to control your emotions of being upset and look at the potential if you're wrong about Bowers and they're right. Imagine what that would be for a defense to have to cover Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, and Bowers out of the slot, and Conklin, who at any point could escape his block and be a deadly receiver, and Brees Hall, who can run from the backfield. Imagine having to defend that. You have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. How do you defend that? Do you keep 8, 9 guys in the box? Okay. How are you going to cover? Who are you going to put on Bowers? You're going to put game one. You know nothing about him as an NFL player. You're the defense. Let's say we're playing the Bills, Miami, anybody. Who are you putting on him? Are you putting a safety on him? Are you putting a cornerback on him? Like, are you putting your slot corner on him? Are you putting your best coverage linebacker on him? And if you're using a defensive back, are they big enough? Or is he going to make them look stupid? Is he going to just go up the middle? Rogers is gonna throw a nice pass, nice contested catch. Bowers is just like up high. Bowers is gonna go up and get it and run through that defensive back like he's nothing and make him look like an idiot. Or are you going to? You can't double cover Garrett, can you? If you double cover Garrett, who are you gonna double cover him? Are you gonna put a safety and you're gonna put a cornerback on him? Now, who are you putting on Bowers? And then who are you putting on Mike Williams? And now, how many people are left in the box? And what's going to happen if Brees Hall gets the ball? If you have 7 in the box only? See what I'm saying? The matchups would be unreal if this kid is for real. If the kid is for real, the matchups would be amazing. I don't know why you're saying Williams is a lemon. Williams is a top 5 WR2. He's not a WR1. We all get it. He's a top 5 WR2. His numbers show that because we only need 700 to 900 yards from our WR2. This is a guy when healthy could be a 1,000-yard receiver. That's a top WR2. He's a contested ball grabbing, tall end zone corner of the end zone catching freak. I mean, he's tall. He's good. He's a nice target. He's going to look great. And I agree with you if he's healthy. But I don't think they would have signed him if they didn't believe that he was on a good pace to be healthy. So, but he's great, but he's a lemon. Now that's just thinking negatively. I'm gonna think positively that he's gonna be healthy. But you're saying we'll see. But Drug Monkey, I know you're hoping he's healthy, right? Like you'd rather be wrong and him be healthy and a great contributor to the team than be right and he can't play. Right? You don't want to be saying "I told you so" because you are a Jets fan after all. So I don't know. I feel like there are times that we can think positive. We can't think positive anymore. We can think, but we can hope. We can hope. I mean, if we can't enjoy the offseason, and even if it's a fantasy, Drug Monkey, when do we get to enjoy being Jet fans, if not during the offseason? Even if it's a fake hope, even if there's no way it's going to happen, and by week 3, half the team is going to be on the injured reserve. Why can't we enjoy this time? Why can't April and May and June be fun for us? Like, why can't we imagine the possibilities? That's what I don't understand. Like, what's the point? Like, if we're going to have our hearts broken, we're going to have our hearts broken either way. We can't control it. It's out of our control. Why can't we at least enjoy the time before it happens? As I'm looking into the phone and looking at myself, I feel like I look like Billy Joel. I'm sorry. If you look at Billy Joel nowadays, if I shave the side and just left the goatee, I'm Billy Joel. Now John at the bar is a friend of mine. He gets me my drinks for free. But he's quick with a joke, a little light of your smoke. And there's someplace that he'd rather be. Knobcraft is here. He says, man, I went through my Twitter, and it's hilarious to see my immediate reactions and compare them to my relative satisfaction with the long game. It's my most embarrassing. Are you saying that? Oh, it's almost embarrassing. Are you saying that anybody who goes to their Twitter is going to look bonkers and be embarrassed? The Bills imploded because I want wins. Drug Monkey, you want wins. So do I, man. Marthea Simon says Bowers to the Colts. Fine, as long as they have to trade up to 10 and give us a second rounder. Then the Colts could have Bowers all day long. And I'll be okay with that. And like I said, if we take Bowers, as long as he hits, if he hits, no one will be upset about it after in the future. Everybody will look back and say, "Well, I didn't want him," but I hate when people say that they name all these tight ends and say, "Well, they were picked in the third round or the fourth round or the fifth round." It doesn't matter. Like that doesn't change anything about Bowers. It doesn't matter that there hasn't been a successful top 10 tight end pick in a while. That doesn't matter. Everybody is it's a different person. It doesn't matter. Not every offensive line tackle is going to be Neil Smith and bust. So, I mean, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't change the film he's put up. It doesn't change why he's exciting as a prospect. You can't say, well, other tight ends, like, do you really believe that to be a good tight end, you have to be drafted in the fourth round? Like, I hate arguments that don't make sense. I don't want to offend anybody, but it's silly. If you tell me I don't want them to take Bowers because I don't think we need help in the position and I think he's too risky, all my respect, I respect that. But if you tell me we can't take Bowers because Pitts didn't work out and he isn't a superstar, I can't debate that. That's not a logical debate. It's not a debate that entails critical thinking. Like it's below what we should be talking about because it's just not a logical argument. It's not relatable. It's not relatable. It doesn't matter what Pitts did. It doesn't matter. It's like it really doesn't. If he was the same kind of player, okay. You could say, hey, there's been 5 tight ends that were like this, that were undersized. Not that he's that undersized. He's the same size as Laporta. He just needs to put on weight like a lot of people who leave college. But if you tell me, oh, he's that type of tight ends that isn't really in line, that's more of a receiver type, never works out, and you show me evidence, okay, that's something we could talk about. But when you just in general say, well, the best tight ends weren't first-round picks, so you shouldn't take one in the first round, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Really, it doesn't. Because I could say that and make that argument for every position. Don't take a quarterback in the first round. Zach Wilson. Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. I mean, you want an argument for not taking, why? How could you take a quarterback in the first round? Tom Brady was in the 6th rounds. Kirk Cousins was in the 5th round. Surely you need to wait to the later rounds to take a quarterback. You see how that's not a logical argument? Because the reality is that only 4% of quarterbacks drafted after the 2nd round ever become a starter and become relevant in the NFL. So, I mean, it's just like, that's not the way to argue it. Argue it and say, I don't like Bowers because. And I can argue either side of it. I could sit there and without lying, honestly give you every reason why we shouldn't take Bowers. I could. I could talk about the fact that it's far from a need on the team. Far from a need. That we have 2 very, very capable tight ends. I could argue that no tight end should be drafted in the top 10 if they're not a complete tight end. Meaning, he's not an inline blocking tight end. How could you be generational, or how could you be justifiably a top 10 tight ends or top 10 pick in the NFL if you can't do half of what your position entails? Or if you can't be utilized that way. See, that would be my argument for no Bowers. My argument on the other side is he's a freaking freak. And he's a matchup nightmare, and you cannot match up against this kid. And that he would be a terror for the other team if we had him. He'd be an incredible weapon. I mean, you could go either way. I could argue both sides, which is why I could digest picking them because I could let the side of me that likes them and sees the reason drive the bus, so to speak. But like people who are just dead against it, like I mean, obviously, I feel that we need an offensive lineman more. I feel that we need another wide receiver more. Like I do, because even if we had Bowers, it doesn't change the fact that if Garrett Wilson went down, who's going to be our boundary receivers? Williams and Lazard? I just don't. That's not functional to me. So at the end of the day, I still feel like we need to address that. I'm trying to think. I think I may only have 13 minutes left because I think Talking Jets. I think they have a show that starts at 7. Am I right about that? I think that they have. Doesn't somebody go on at 7 on Tuesday? I know that they have the panel at 8. But doesn't Green Bean? No, that's Wednesday. Tom goes on with Ryan on Monday. I go on with O'Leary on Thursday. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I still got time. But Bowers ain't and Conklin will play the same role. Well, yeah, I mean, but you can put them both in because Conklin is capable of being an inline tight end. See, that's what I mean about Bowers. That's one of the negatives. Conklin, even though he's more known to be a receiver, that might be a stronger, you know, part of his game. Whereas Ruckert is known to be a strong blocker. That's how you use them, right? Like you expect Conklin to be more the route runner, step out to the slot, and Jeremy Ruckert to be the inline block and protect, with a mix of Rucker going out sometimes because he's capable. Like that's the good thing about having versatile tight ends. You could fool the defense. You could have Conklin stay in line, and you could slip out Rucker, because Rucker has every bit of ability to be a receiving tight end. He's proven it. But I don't think that if we got Bowers, it would mean that you can't have Conklin and Bowers on the field at the same time. Like you could definitely go 12 personnel and have Conklin and Bowers. I mean, you could have them both go out for passes. You could have them both, one from the line of scrimmage, that would be Conklin, and you could have Bowers go from the slot and just be used like a slot receiver on plays. I know it makes more sense when you have Ruckert out there with either one of them, because Ruckert's your true inline tight ends. That adds a sixth lineman who can handle an edge, who can handle a real pass rusher. But I think that we would see a mix. I think we'd see a mix, and I think Conklin would be used like a slot receiver. So I think there are times you'd see all three tight ends out there. I think there are times you would see Ruckert and Conklin and Bowers lined up, and Bowers is literally the slot receiver. So, but the question is, do we need that? Or do we want that? Is it a want? Is it a luxury? Or is it a need? Now, sometimes a luxury could be just as good as a need if they pan out. I mean, if the guy is uncoverable and the guy is a nightmare, and he's like, every time we're at third down, we just flip him the ball. Nobody's covering him, or nobody can stay with him. If he's breaking out big plays all the time, if he's getting, 50 to 100 yards every game, scoring 10 touchdowns for the year, if he's like a freak, it's going to be hard to beat us. It's going to be really hard to beat us. So that's why I can't, strongly go against or for him. So the worst case scenario would be for him to be a bust. Ugh. We're so close. This roster is so strong. It's one of the best rosters I've ever seen the Jets put together. And it's so close. And it's like people don't understand how big this draft is. Because if you add the right pieces, it could be amazing. Like, we could have an amazing run. We really can. It could be really special. I miss it. I don't know how many of you remember 2009, 2010, and what those runs were like when we won those games and made it to the championship games. Like, oh my God. It was such a great feeling, man, to be in the playoffs. It was so awesome. How amazing would it be? And we literally can do it again. And to me, the biggest fear, the biggest thing that could take it away is if we don't have good backup tackles and one of them goes down for significant time. That's how I could see it all going away and all falling apart on us. That's why it's like I need to know there's a better tackle on our team. I mean, it could be we might have the guys on the roster. They might be good enough, but we just don't know, and it's just so much of a risk. Like, are they gonna take steps forward? Will Max Mitchell take steps forward? Will Carter Warren take steps? Are they gonna take a big step? It's possible. It's happened so many times. It would make so much sense for Carter Warren to take a big step. He was injured. He had no offseason. It would make so much sense for him to take a big step. But if he doesn't, we're screwed. That's the problem. If he doesn't, we're screwed. And if he does, then we picked the guy we didn't need, and we should have picked a weapon. You know? Roger says, I'll be happy with either LSU receiver. So will I. So will I. I think it's stupid to take OT2 and 10 when you don't have a consensus OT2. Actually, OT2, 3, 4, and 5 are basically interchangeable. So why wouldn't you take one at 15 to 18 instead after sliding back? I agree. Like, I don't feel good about any pick. I'll tell you the only picks I feel good about if we pick a 10 and don't trade back. I don't feel good completely. Like, I'm going to feel slightly disappointed on almost anybody we pick, whether it be Bowers, whether it be Fuanga or Fatanu or even Fashano or Odunze. Like, I'm going to feel at a loss if we pick them at 10 and don't trade back. The only guys we could pick at 10 that I don't care, that realistically that could slip, so I'm not going to even talk about Marvin, okay? If somehow Malik Neighbors slipped to 10, I don't care that we didn't get a second-round pick. I'm jumping up and down. I'm doing backflips. The egg might hit the floor and crack in front of everybody. Like, and marinara sauce is going to pour out and pizza sauce. Look, no problem. If it's alt, no problem. No regrets. At 10, Jets get Joe Alt. I'm all over. I'm doing backflips. I couldn't care less that we didn't get a number 2 pick because we got a future Pro Bowler. So that's all good. But if it's not one of those guys, I'm right with Dana. Like, what was the point? Why take Fuanga at 10? We could have traded down and we could have gotten an equivalent prospect at 15. And I know everybody says, I don't want to pass 16, 17. I'm fine if we trade down to 2021 and take Tyler Guyton, but we get a huge haul. Like, if we get a second and a third, and by trading down to 21, 22 or something like that, and, like we got like a bigger haul, or a team's second round pick, we swap, we get their second round this year and their first round next year or second round next, like any kind of nice big haul like that. Because don't forget, the Bears traded the Giants. They swapped picks with them and gave them a freaking second and a first the next year, right? So, like, anything big like that, I'm fine with because I'm one of those few people that I'm okay with Tyler Guyton. I am. I'm fine with Tyler Guyton because he's going to be he's very athletic. He's like, I think he's going to be a better, I said his comp is George Fant, and Dom C told me, Jeremy, he's better. Like, his ceiling is much higher than that. So he's like, imagine a George Fant type of tackle, like athletically, but imagine much higher ceiling. Like a better Fant. That's all we need. You get a George Fant or better level tackle, At right tackle, what more do we need than that? Especially if it comes with a second round pick, and then next year we have a pick, or if it comes with the second and third this year. Then we could take that. Then we could take the second and the third and move up to the back of the first. Like we could do some crazy shit and get ourselves a stud receiver. So I mean, there's so many different things that we could do. It's like it's just, you know. Charles says there's a real possibility Alt falls to 10. Then take him. I don't know how anybody would be upset by that. I don't know how anybody can honestly say they'd be upset if we grab Joe Alt at 10. Like, the guy is as close to a sure thing as I've ever seen. He really is. I mean, the guy delivers all the time. Dano says he's a rat. I mean, the guy delivers all the time. Like, in other words, he was perfect all year. Like, I watch this film, I cannot find anything bad. He dominates on every play. Guy tries to go wide on him, he's there. The footwork is there. Running plays, he's pushing people, he's moving people. Everything is there with this guy. He's a perfect prospect. Then he shows up at the combine, and he's by far the best athlete there. He shows them all up. He's head and shoulders above everybody. I mean, it was like he's the perfect prospect. Like there's no way. Like you can't be more confident. Anybody could bust, but you cannot be more confident in Joe Alt at that position. Like I can't think of anyone like in this draft that'd be more confident than Joe Alt. So if they take him, fine. And I feel the same way about Neighbors. And I'm sick of people saying, oh, he might only be able to play the slot. What a joke. They said the same thing about freaking Justin Jefferson. Oh, he can only play this. What are you, crazy? He's an amazing route runner. He creates crazy separation. He explodes off the line of scrimmage. I don't care about his height. He's not even that short, but I don't even care. To me, as long as you can get off the line of scrimmage and get into your route and run great routes, you're a boundary receiver. It's like, give me a break. Of course he is. He's like another Garrett Wilson. And I don't think we need to have two different types. No, what's better than one Garrett Wilson? Two Garrett Wilsons. It's like, I'll take that every day of the week. Can you imagine Aaron Rodgers? Oh my God, it would be like Thanksgiving. Matthias says there's no way he's falling to 10. So you guys could argue about it all day. The truth will be the truth. We will see. Carlos A says, don't mind moving up to get Joe Alt. Yeah, look, the only problem with moving up is then we have even less capital. If they did something where they traded something for next year, then I don't mind as much. Not a first or anything crazy like that. But, if they give a fourth this year and a third next year and swap with Tennessee and get up there or something, if it's that kind of thing, fine. He has the lineage. You're right, Marthias. I don't see him falling to 10 either. I don't. Dano says, I can't wait. 16 days away. I know. I'm so excited, man. It's going to be great. I don't know if I'm more excited about the food, more excited about the people I'm going to be hanging out with, or the draft itself, or maybe just a combination of all three. But I can't wait. Cannot wait. So, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I should have taken the time to set this up on StreamYard so I could have taken in callers and everything. I thought I'd be doing this. I thought I was going to talk for 10 minutes. And I ended up here for well over an hour. So, hey, thanks for staying with me, guys. And I will see you tomorrow on the Pride and Chaos show. And maybe I'll see you in the chat on the Talking Jets panel. I can't wait for the season to be over. Tax season. I know. Jimenez, I got to do my taxes. Oh, my God. Got to go, guys. I forgot. I still haven't sent my tax information to my accountant. I'm so stupid. All right. Bye later, guys.